Well, hello, and welcome to another episode of the Water from the Rock podcast, brought to you, as always, by the Calvary Baptist Church. Not with me, as always, is my dad, and as you guys know, he is taking care of his health right now and working on trying to get over kind of his cancer. And so, number one, guys, I want to remind you guys, please pray that he gets in the right trial. That way it can help kind of fight this cancer back. And yesterday he had to go to Iowa City for a CT scan and meet with oncology and stuff like that. He had to get some water drained off, and he did that, I think, Wednesday. And but just keep him in your prayers. I know that right now he's really going through it. It's been a lot of pain, and he's in a lot of pain right now. So if you guys could really pray for him, that'd be great. But with all that being said, it's kind of hard to solo these podcasts. As you guys know, I did one solo podcast, and I learned my lesson. Don't ever do a solo podcast ever again. So with that, I've had my sister in the podcast. You guys remember Lauren or Sissy? I think she did episode 43 or 44 with me. And then I had Dustin with me last week. Lauren, of course, runs a lot of our music stuff. Her and my sister-in-law, Angie, they run the music stuff here at the church. And both of them are just really gifted in the area of music. And maybe I should have Angie on some point. I'm not sure. But I had Lauren on, and she was talking a little bit about what she does around the church. And last week I had Dustin on. And I'm probably going to have him back in the studio here real soon. But he runs a lot of our kids ministry stuff. But today I have another special guest today, which is my younger brother, Noah Robbins. So Noah, tell the people a little bit about yourself.
Hello, everybody. I'm Noah. Like Tyler said, I'm his younger brother. I'm 26 and been married to my wife, Angela, for the last 3 years, coming up on 4.
Which is bonkers. I thought it was like 4 or 5 or 6 or 10
Time
or
flies when you're having fun, right?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, never a dull moment. So, yeah.
Yep.
I've been helping do some of the Sunday school lessons and the Sunday night preaching, as well as I just whatever needs to be done around here when my dad's a little decommissioned. So, yeah.
So right now, Noah and I are splitting kind of the pastorate stuff here. I take on a lot of the counseling while Noah does some of the counseling as well. But he's teaching the adult Sunday school class, and he's preaching Sunday night. And then, of course, he teaches. We have a 5 o'clock hour, and we all kind of take turns doing that. So every 4 weeks, Noah does a trivia lesson or a trivia class, like a trivia night for our church at 5 o'clock on Sunday nights. And we'll actually have that tomorrow. My dad teaches a class on 5 o'clock on Sunday nights, and then I teach a 5 o'clock hour on Sunday nights. And so it goes my dad, myself, then Noah, then we have a week off, then my dad, myself, and Noah. Well, anyway, with my dad being down, we'll probably just do every other week for a while, where I'll teach a class and then wait 2 weeks, then Noah will do his trivia night, then 2 weeks, then I'll teach a class. Or we'll have the girls do gospel sing or something. I have yet to figure out what exactly we'll do, but Noah teaches the trivia night, which is a lot of fun.
It's a great way to make yourself feel smart if you know all the answers.
Yeah, it does.
You get to be the one giving hints and staring at them like they don't know what's going on.
Yeah, that's why I quit answering trivia. And
Yep.
No, I really enjoy the trivia night, and it's a lot of fun. And my thought is yes, it's not really gospel related. It's not really Christian related. It's not really a church related thing. But it's important because if you can't have fun in church, where can you have fun? And if you can't enjoy being at church, where can you enjoy being? You know what I mean? And so for me, just coaching that is something that I really enjoy because it just brings a lot of I shouldn't say joy, but kind of joy into the church. You know, it's a lot of fun.
Sense of camaraderie,
yeah,
community.
Yeah.
Something you guys everyone can do together and have some fun without it being too serious or
exactly.
You know.
Going airsofting or softball playing or something like that.
Yeah.
That can get the blood going. You know. And
Yep. Yeah.
That's
Not everything is such high stakes, and just make fun of people when they don't know answers, or they give something that's way off.
Yeah,
but
yeah, I really do enjoy the trivia nights you teach, stuff like that. But my dad writes a lesson for our Sunday school class every week, and so we went through all the kings and stuff like that, which was a study I enjoyed. And in doing so, I've always known the kings of Israel, but I never knew the kings like in order and like who is whose dad and stuff like that. So we went through that, which I really enjoyed that. I've talked about that before a little bit in the past. But after we were done with the kings, when we talked about Israel being carried away, of course, into captivity, or not Israel, Judah, because Judah lasted longer than Israel. We then moved into studying animals. We've done several animals from there. But Noah has been taking the last few weeks and teaching or writing our lesson instead. With that being said, Noah, you have talked about the donkey, and this week we're going to do the peacock.
That's right.
And so out of all the animals that we've talked about, all the animals you've written about, what are the ones you've enjoyed the most to study on?
Definitely donkeys number one. They're
Yeah?
very underappreciated for people who don't know about them. They kind of got some traction, in some circles for being cute and fun and whatever, but they're really just cool animals. They have a lot of interesting traits, a lot of cool things that they know how to do, and behaviors that they can learn, and a lot more lower maintenance and easier to deal with than animals like horses.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
what's your favorite thing you've learned about the donkey?
Well, I'd have to say there's a couple really interesting things that we learned in this lesson, but maybe my favorite is its homing instinct. It always knows how to get home no matter where it's at. It
Mhm.
knows the direction to go and how to get there. I know we've talked about it a few times now, but there's so many cool
Yeah,
stories.
full disclosure, we we recorded this podcast already once, and it didn't record.
It didn't.
So,
But I've had this conversation a few times because when I was learning about it, I was nerding out about donkeys for about a week. So I was telling everybody I knew about how cool donkeys were. So I feel like I've repeated this 100 times, but there's just so many cool stories about donkeys being used to find the way home. Like people get lost in the desert, or there's a funny story about these robbers in Mexico who had a donkey with them, and the police were able to capture the donkey. And when the robbers fled back to their home, they just set the donkey loose and followed the donkey home. And then they were able to find the robbers and arrest them. Things like that. Like there's another story about a merchant ship trying to cross the Mediterranean from Gibraltar to the island of Malta, and they got swept up in a really nasty storm.
are there
So-
sharks in the Mediterranean Sea?
That's a good question. I don't know. I think there
Has to be
can
some.
be.
Yeah.
It's pretty warm. It's got to be an opportunity for them to be there at least. But
Yeah, I mean, salt water.
yeah.
But anyway, I didn't mean to
Yeah.
interrupt your story. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. But yeah, this big storm blew up and they started going down. So they started throwing all their cargo overboard. Started throwing anything that weighed, something substantial overboard, including this donkey. And the ship ended up surviving the storm, but just barely. But they had to turn around and just limp back to the harbor they started from, back in Gibraltar. And they got all the way back, crossed over the mountains back to their home, and they got it back up into their property, and they went there and they saw that donkey had made its way home and was sitting in the stable eating its hay, sitting there just hanging out, waiting for them.
That's crazy.
Yeah, donkey was able to swim all the way back across, however far they were into the Mediterranean Sea. I don't know the details, but just things like that. Like the donkey's just so interesting in how it's got a bad rap for being stubborn, but it's not really stubborn at all. As a matter of fact, it's incredibly obedient. It just is always very cautious where it goes. If it can't see the ground in front of it, it's not going to step on it. They don't want to step in a hole and get themselves hurt.
Yeah,
or
I mean, their
step
eyes
off
are
a
set
cliff.
so wide, they have a
Yep.
blind spot.
And they have a natural blind spot right in front of them. So if they don't get a chance to see where you're trying to lead them, then they're gonna slow down and look. But if you get impatient, and just try to push them or nudge them or kick them or whatever, like if they don't take that kind of interaction too kindly. Like you can't move a donkey if you don't want to move, and that's why they get the reputation for being stubborn, is because people don't know how to lead them, don't know how to command their respect, don't know how to train them, so they just get stuck with a donkey who's nervous, doesn't know where to go, and yeah.
I think one of the things that you brought up that I really enjoyed about the study of the donkey was whenever you have to have more than one donkey because they have to have like a pack, you know?
Yep, they're very
But-
social.
But if you don't have another donkey, they will find literally any other animal
Yep, they'll
to
find all
be
kinds
friends
of
with.
yeah, goats, sheep, horses, mules,
I
pigs.
just think the idea of him having a pecking order of like a bunch of pigs and pigeons and stuff like that would be
You can find
hilarious.
some really great videos online of donkeys carrying around goats in their mouth, like a dog with a chew toy.
That's funny.
Yeah, like just things like that. Yeah, they got to have a group to be a part of.
I gotta look
because
that up. I
yeah.
gotta bookmark it. I'll
Yeah,
watch later.
they're pretty funny. There's all kinds of funny videos about donkeys, but yeah, they're really protective. So one thing that's interesting about donkeys is that once they come to know you, and once they understand that you're part of like their so-called herd or family, however you want to look at it, that they say that they have incredibly good memory as well, and they won't forget you.
You were saying that. I could
Mhm.
not believe that how long they could remember you
Yeah,
for.
they say they're like elephants in that way. They never forget a face. They never forget the smell. I'm assuming it's probably more what it is than their vision. But once they get to know you, they trust you, and they see you as someone that they're comfortable around. You can interact with them as much as you like. They'll even fight to protect you against threats. Like they're pretty crazy.
I found a video. Sorry, I like what you said. One of the things that you brought out about donkeys were how they have like stomped to death wolves to protect the sheep.
Yeah, they'll fight off wild dogs and other predators too.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and they got incredible bite force. They have a giant head with these big old bunches of muscle on their jaw.
Yeah.
And they can bite through bone. They can crush the bones.
You're saying they have like a horse-sized head on this mini body.
They just about do. If you look at them next to a horse, the proportions are wild.
That's crazy. So I found a video. It's called "Yup, My Donkey Ate My Goat."
Let me see it.
Goats to explore new green pastures. So this is what's going on. We got to tie in the fence here, all right? And then what is going on? What is that?
This is the same one I saw. Yep.
Guy jumps the fence.
Yep. He's just running around with a goat hanging out of his mouth.
Drop the goat. Oh my gosh.
The goat's fine.
Yeah, I love goats. They're like my favorite animal, man.
Pretty funny too.
They're so cute and so funny. But they are some of the most like it's something about a goat is just so dorky. You know what I mean? But I love them. And
Got a little bit of a derpy attitude.
they do.
Well,
And I like them, but I really enjoy that study on the donkey because, like you said, their jaws are so powerful. Like they can bite through a human finger like it's nothing, and they can shatter the bones in your arm with
Yeah.
just a bite. And it's
that's
crazy.
what they say. Those big jack donkeys, they can bite hard enough to break bones in your arm.
That's
so you got to be
crazy.
careful. Like if a donkey decides he doesn't like you or doesn't trust you or that you're a threat for some reason, like that's why first impressions with donkeys apparently are very important. Because once they make up your mind, they don't really ever change it. Like if they have great memories for like danger and threat too. Like if they get hurt somewhere or like they get attacked by an animal, they won't ever want to be around that animal. Like of any of their species again. Like if a dog, like a wild dog or a domestic dog, comes and attack a donkey, the donkey won't like any dogs. It'll be really hard for them to be around any dogs.
You were
ever
saying
again.
that somebody had bought you one of the farmers that you were reading about and watching their videos and stuff like that. Because Noah went and studied like all over the internet and then talked to several people locally that owned horses and donkeys and stuff like that to figure out like the differences between donkeys and stuff like that. He did a lot of research and he did a really good job. But you were saying that one of the farmers that you were following, that they had a donkey that had been previously attacked by a dog when they were really young, and they had farm dogs, and it took that donkey years to get used to even being around those dogs.
Yeah.
And it still hated them, but it wouldn't attack them outright.
It wasn't. They didn't accept the dogs. They tolerated them. If that
Yeah.
makes sense. Like they were always weary. They didn't like being around them, but they got to the point where they could without trying to attack them. Because
Yeah.
donkeys, if they think something's threatening, like they're about the business. They don't do a whole lot of running, and they're pretty slow. So that's probably why they'll
Yeah.
just stand and fight with whatever they think is trying to kill them. So or kill things that they see as part of their herd. Like they protect sheep and stuff.
Exactly. And like you said, they're incredibly great, like not just pack animals in the sense of being like a part of a community of animals. They're a great pack animal because they're so strong. You were saying that they're like pound for pound stronger than a horse.
Oh yeah, way stronger. I don't know exactly like the statistics on it, but
The ratio.
yeah, like horses can obviously do more work. They can pull more weight because they weigh like 4 times as much. But pound for pound, donkeys move more weight and they're more durable. Like there's so many cool little things about a donkey, like the way their hips and their femurs align in their legs, the way their joints are more in a straight line than a horse's. Like, it gives them more mechanical advantage to bear weight. Like they have natural bone structures that make them stronger carrying weight on their back compared to a horse. And another cool thing about a donkey is that from the day you put them to work, like when they're a year old, the amount of weight that they can move and how long they can work, they say it'll be the same amount of weight the day they stop working 20, 30 years later. Like they
crazy.
don't really ever get weaker unless they get sick or hurt or something. But if all things go naturally, they can accomplish the same amount of work the day they begin and the day they retire.
That's crazy.
Yeah, pretty crazy.
And you were saying like they've been a revered animal through most cultures.
There's a lot of cultures that have a lot of respect for them. Like in the lesson we talked about how in Egypt there are hieroglyphs of a donkey being like paraded for its hard work, helping build structures and stuff. And there's also like I don't know if they're memorials, like not memorials, but like references to the donkey, like South America, but they are recorded as being like used for building like the ziggurats and pyramids for the Aztecs, and
That's
like
crazy.
dragging stones up ramps to build these structures. Like there's native there's native donkey species, I think, in every major continent, and like Africa, North America, South America all have them. Asia has them. I believe Europe does too. Native species. So like every culture, every major civilization that's arisen and fallen throughout the history of man, like they've all used donkeys. Just like most civilizations have used horses, not all of them, but most. But donkeys are everywhere, and they're good at what they do. So everyone likes using them. Everyone has made use of them. So
Like you said, even they're used to break the stubbornness of horses.
That's another thing. Like they're extremely obedient. You don't have to break their will like you do a horse. Like those famous scenes of the Wild West of these wild horses are trying to tame, so they throw a saddle on them and ride them until the horse runs out of energy and then finally submits. Donkeys, you don't got to do that. What's even better is if you take a young horse who won't listen to the commands of his master, like you can take a donkey who will obey, like that is obedient, and you tie them together at their leads. And that horse might be bigger and stronger and be able to push around the donkey and force his will on the donkey. But the donkey's strong, and the donkey will always obey. So it'll always just tug at that horse and move him back to the stable. And eventually, that horse will realize that he's not going to outstubborn the donkey, I mean. So it'll just learn to obey the donkey. And while it's learning to obey the donkey, it learns to obey the master's commands.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and you can see the obvious correlation with Scripture there.
Yep.
And what we talked about in our Sunday school lesson, which, is about always being willing to bring other people, no matter how much they fight, to God. How many times people try to influence us for, wrong things or of the world.
And it's a good analogy of the pastoral role too, I think.
That's
because
true.
As God is always issuing, is always speaking to our hearts and has, blueprint for our life that we can choose to follow or not to. God puts a pastor in our life that is used to help keep us in check, who's supposed to help be our leader, help supposed to keep us moving towards following God's command. And obviously we can still choose to reject that leadership, but it's a good illustration of how it works.
Absolutely.
A good pastor will never stop trying to lead you to God.
Absolutely. And then in the other version of this podcast we already recorded, but it didn't record, we talked a little bit about the movie Gus. And we talked about, I don't know if you guys have ever seen that movie from 1976, but we got an argument on whether Don Knotts is in it or not. We had to look it up, and yep, Don Knotts is in that movie.
Yep.
And, but no, it was a good
1
movie
point for
too.
me.
Oihish. Because they're so good at, you said that they
Vocal
follow
commands, yeah.
vocal commands. Like you can
Yep.
almost order them like a dog. Like they're
Yep.
very obedient. And
It's really
neat.
It's kind of interesting. Like as I was reading about this animal, I started thinking like they're like the golden retriever of horses.
Kind
they're
of.
just super easygoing, super obedient. Like they're not hard to train. They do what you ask them to do most of the time. Like obviously, like there's variation in that, but they're just good animals.
So I know that like growing up, you were big in animals. You always loved watching Animal Planet. You loved Big Cat Diaries.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you watched all sorts of stuff about
I was-
different animals. You studied sharks when you were like
I
10
was
or
making
11.
Angie watch Big Cat Diary with me the other day.
I made my family watch that. I forget what it's called, but it's either on Disney Plus and it's the National Geographic thing, or maybe it's just Disney. I can't remember. But there was a show about chimps, and I can't remember if I knew what it's called. I think it's called Chimp Nation or something like that.
Yeah, there was a show called Chimp Nation.
I'm not sure if that's the show I'm talking about.
There's
It's-
also Orangutan Island.
We didn't watch Orangutan
I
Island,
did.
but we watched. I don't know if it was Chimp Nation or if that's just the name that's coming to mind. But it was the one where they're all living in like captivity.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
it's like people who used to have chimpanzee pets,
Yeah.
and they can't have them anymore and stuff
Yep.
like that. And so they come to this like almost like a rehab,
Like a sanctuary, they call it.
Yeah.
Sanctuary.
and just I don't know how much is them imposing. Oh, this is what's happening.
Yeah, I gotta
And
dramatize it.
Exactly. But just watching that and watching the way, like the intricacies of their culture, it was really interesting.
Yeah, they're pretty sophisticated in
Yeah.
their
I
little
wish my
civilization.
kids like watching that stuff more. They hate it.
That's too bad.
Well, I spoiled them with cartoons too early. And
You got broken kids.
exactly. And I've got, Evan now is getting to the point where he likes to watch documentaries about stuff like that. And I've been introducing him to watching like rock climbing. And we watched Free Solo the other
Oh,
day.
yeah.
And they were just like, oh my gosh, that is so cool. And I'm trying to explain to him, if he falls, he's a stain. He's not going to just walk away. He's not going to just die. That's going to be a stain on the ground.
Yep.
And trying to explain to him the danger of it. And Evan's just going, oh, I want to try doing that. And I'm like, okay. I mean, there's a couple of places around here you can go climb rocks. It's
Spirit
like
of
20 feet
adventure.
tall, but
Yep.
I'm trying to foster that spirit of adventure. But I'm going off
Yep.
on this weird rabbit trail. What I wanted to ask you is you've studied animals your entire life. You're big into hunting. You love hunting deer.
Usually.
You should try hunting like turkey and stuff like that. That's
I thought about it.
whole different ballgame.
Yeah. I always see turkeys when I'm deer hunting, but I know as soon as I buy a tag, I'll never see one again.
Exactly. That's
So,
how it works. And you
yeah.
gotta keep one of those turkey broadheads in your
Yep.
quiver too.
Yep.
Then you can't have that arrow knocked. You gotta make noise. And
Yep.
anyway, my point is in asking all of that. After studying the donkey and then this week the peacock, what has been what is your favorite animal and has it changed?
Yes, it's always changing. So when I was a kid, my absolute
Barnacle. Barnacle's my favorite.
Yeah. Yeah. Venus flytrap. Now, when I was a kid, undisputed #1 pound for pound favorite animal was always
Let me
the
guess, cheetah. I
Always
knew it was
the
gonna be cheetah. I knew it.
That's why I like Big Cat Diary so much.
Exactly. I knew it was gonna be cheetah because of that.
Yeah, I always thought just the speed. Speed was so cool. They had a cool pattern. They weren't the most, they're not the biggest, most ferocious animals in the Sahara or the savannah. I mean, but they, I don't know. I just thought they were really cool, fascinating. How they, I don't know. They had claws that don't retract. I think they're the only big cat species that their claws don't retract. Might be getting that backwards.
Yeah. I always thought bobcats were like the size of a cheetah, and then I saw a stuffed bobcat the other day. I'm like, that's like the size of a house cat on steroids, basically. They're
Yeah, I
pretty
think
small.
they only get like, I don't even know, 60 pounds maybe.
Yeah, I mean they're not like that big, but like cheetahs are a lot bigger than that.
They are, but they're still pipsqueaks compared to the lions and,
Oh, yeah.
and the leopards that are in the same habitat. So, like, they can catch food pretty good. Well, even then, like, their success rate isn't that high compared to some other animals. But they can catch plenty of food to keep themselves fed. The bigger problem is not getting it stolen. Because lions and hyenas will just bully them off of their kill. Matter of fact, that's kind of like what hyenas do. They don't really do any hunting. They just wait for something else to kill it, and they use 13 or 14 of their buddies to go steal it. Like, that's just what they do. So, like, I don't know. I always loved cheetahs when I was a kid. Now, some of my favorite animals right now, donkey's probably my favorite. But orca whales are also very cool, super interesting. Peacock shrimp, super cool.
I don't like peacocks.
Peacock shrimp.
Oh, those are cool.
Yeah, they can.
You mean the pistol shrimp?
Though pistol shrimp are different, but they're similar because they both create cavitation bubbles because they can flick so hard.
I've seen those pistol shrimp. Like they
Yeah,
like superheat the water. It's crazy.
Yeah, they move so fast that it tears the molecules of the water, which causes light.
Yeah.
I forget what the stat
They
is.
say that
but-
they instantly like cook the food too.
yeah,
Like it kills them,
yeah,
but it instantly cooks them.
The heat that's put off from the tearing of the molecules is like equivalent to the surface of the sun or something crazy like that.
That's bonkers, man.
Yeah, in those pistol shrimp, or not pistol shrimp, the peacock shrimp. They call them peacock because they're big, they're blue, and they're colorful and iridescent like a peacock's feathers. But they're like 6 inches long, and they have these giant, like, I forget what they're called, but they're like little hard bony fists that they roll up underneath them and they flick them.
So it almost looks like a praying mantis. Where
Yeah,
they curl
kind
in.
of, but they're like at the end, instead of having claws or anything, they just have giant like bone like battering rams, kind of like they're just circular little like bone structures,
Protuberances,
Yeah.
essentially.
and they can punch so hard that they'll just kill cuttlefish and small octopi.
Really?
Just like kill the brain. They hit them dead on the head. And they say it's equivalent to the impact of a .22 long rifle.
That's crazy.
Yeah. You can see these videos of. There's this one of a guy who was fishing off of a paddleboard, I think, and he accidentally caught a peacock shrimp because they're still predatory, and he brought it up and he realized what it was and he started freaking out because it came off his hook in his canoe or his paddleboard, and he's like, oh no, and then it punched him in his ankle and split his skin up and he's bleeding all over his thing.
Really?
Yeah.
I'll have to look that video up.
Yeah, I wonder if it broke the bone because I don't know. You think you're getting shot with a .22?
That would
Probably
break
damage the
yeah.
bone. But yeah, I don't know. Just there's so many cool animals just like that. Really interesting.
Yeah. So your favorite animal right now is probably the donkey, you said?
Right now might be, yeah.
Yeah. I understand that this isn't so much a spiritual lesson episode, guys, that we're talking about.
We're talking about
animals,
God's
but-
beautiful creation.
Exactly. I mean, one of the things we got to do is learn how to appreciate things God has made for us, and no, I don't know. My favorite animal, I really enjoyed the study of the donkey, and like I said, black rhino was definitely one of my more favorite. But like I said on the other recording of the podcast, I think my favorite now might be the jackal. Jackal, it's the jackal. I like the jackals. And one of the things I really like about the jackals is like they have like an actual society. It's like they have their own, which interestingly enough, the most dangerous thing to a jackal. Do you remember what it is, Noah?
I don't.
It's a cheetah.
Is it a cheetah?
Yeah.
That's funny.
Because they love to raid the dens and eat the pups.
Interesting.
And a cheetah is big enough to kill a single jackal, but the
Yeah.
breeding pair of a jackal, the male and the female,
Can fight them off.
if they fight together, they will split and flank the cheetah,
Yeah.
and the male will attack the cheetah. When the cheetah turns to face the male and kill him, the female jumps in and attacks him. And then when it turns to face the female, they just wear him out, and they can't actually kill a cheetah. It's very hard for them to kill a cheetah, but it taxes them so much the cheetah just leaves. Like, you're not worth it.
Yeah.
But the second biggest predator is the vulture. They love to swoop down and pick up the pups and then drop them and splat them on the ground and come eat them. It's crazy,
Brutal.
man. It is. But they have their den, and then they have their hunting territory. It's usually about a square mile. And then the jackal, whenever the female dies or the male dies, whatever, I don't think they'll even like get another breeding pair. But the spouse that dies, the one that's still alive, digs a hole for that spouse, because every night they all get together and they all sing together. All the other dens in the area, they don't cross into their territory, but they will start to sing.
They'll sound off like coyotes.
Exactly, they howl and sing together.
Mhm.
And then whenever one of them dies, the other one will howl that one had died. And so all of those other jackal pairs, all the mating pairs will come over, and the spouse that died, they dig a hole and drag the spouse, the spouse that's still alive digs a hole for the dead spouse, drags the dead spouse into the hole like a grave, and then all those other ones will come up and sniff and kind of pay respects to it, and then they bury that jackal. And then they all return back home. But I just thought it was really neat how like their society is so intricate.
Yeah, they have a better concept of marriage than most Americans.
Yeah, that's true. What was it? 80% of American marriages end in divorce now, or something?
I don't know. I always heard 50, and then I feel like I heard it went up to 60 at one point, but I don't know. I've never checked it.
But here's the thing: is I think recently the rate of divorce has actually declined, but the rate of live-ins, where people are living together but not married, has started to rise exponentially. But no, but I just think it's very interesting, like how God's creation so intricately mirrors the way like human society works. And God does that on purpose. I don't think it's an evolutionary trait where we've kept these things. I think it's God has designed us to have these ideas about life and work with each other. And I actually really enjoyed these studies. And I cannot wait to see what animal you're going to bring next. I know we're doing the peacock tomorrow.
I don't know.
And like I said, I'm not a huge fan of the peacock, primarily because, as you talked about the peacocks, they're so vain. The peahens are usually the smart ones. And but like the peacocks can be a very vain animal. But I've really enjoyed the donkey and the way that you put together the peacock and like the resources that you used in the well-roundedness of that lesson. I've really enjoyed. I really enjoyed watching you kind of flourish and mature in these things. Cannot wait to see what animal you do next.
That's a good question. I'm not sure.
Well, you got like 4 days to figure it out. So.
Yeah. Well, I got Dad gave me this big old book with it goes over all the animals mentioned in the scripture. I think is what its thing is. But I was using that as well. But I don't know. He did quite a few lessons already, so he took some of the cool animals. He already did the cheetah. He already did the rhino.
Yeah, the cheetah's kind of your phone-in one because you already know all this stuff. You don't have to do a lot of research.
Yeah.
I like to find ones that I can kind of phone in on and then keep on those for a little while whenever I'm overwhelmed.
He already did elephants, and I think he's done horses as well.
We have not done the horse.
He said he did.
We've done the elephant. We've done the giraffe. Did the scorpion.
Yeah, did spiders.
The camel. We did spiders during VBS.
Oh, that's right. I haven't done spiders in this one.
We did the cheetah.
Yep.
We did cheetah and whale and spider during VBS. But we done the jackal, like I said. We did the donkey last week. We've done the elephant. We talked about Asian and African elephants. Which one of the things I thought was really cool about the elephant was they did. They have this loyalty like the donkey does. Where if you earn their respect, you can lead them to their death, and they know that they will die, but they still go with you. Yeah, like they knowingly will go to their death.
Interesting.
Because their master commanded it. It's really cool. And one of the stories that was brought out in that lesson was that there was a really steep grade that an elephant would fall down and die. It would not survive. But these people were trying to flee their village, and they were trying to bring their elephants with them. And none of the elephants would follow them, but they would kind of pack animal together. Or they'd have with one that was a leader of all of this herd of elephants, essentially, had a master that knew the way up that would be safe for the elephant. And so he led it up that, like, basically a zigzag path at the side of this steep grade, and all the elephants were able to survive because they followed the one elephant. Even though that elephant thought he was going to die, he still followed his master, and the master led them all to safety.
Wow.
It was just a really cool story. But
yeah, they're really intelligent.
Yeah, they are very intelligent creatures, and I really enjoyed it. One of the things I thought was really cool was the elephant has the ability to just like crush with its feet, but it is so sensitive with its foot. It's so delicate that it knows not to put too much pressure on a human. Like, it knows the danger of hurting a human. Yeah. And yet they will refuse to do it. It's really cool. Mm-hmm. And I remember reading one time that donkeys, elephants look at us almost as if like as a baby.
Interesting.
Yeah, they treat us like babies. It's really cool. Actually, I have a giant wooden elephant on my desk. He's missing a tusk. I named him Mortimer Rutherford III. I don't know why, but that's what we voted on naming him. Mortimer the elephant. I'm not sure why. He's missing a tusk. Damaged goods. I don't know why I like it so much, but I like the fact he's got a missing tusk.
Well, that's normal. You see that in nature all the time. They have broken tusks, missing tusks.
And do they grow them back? I can't remember.
I honestly don't know.
I know that the females don't have tusks. Only males do. I thought that was interesting too. Well, anyway, guys, we could sit and talk about animals all day because Noah's a walking encyclopedia of animals, and I very much enjoy studying them. So, but anyway, guys, I hope that this has been a blessing to you. I know, like I said, this isn't so much more of a spiritual lesson episode, but just more of just enjoying God's creation and nature. Like I said at the beginning of the episode, Pastor's still going through it health-wise, so please keep him in your prayers. If you want to reach out to him and give a vote of confidence to him, let him know you're praying for him, you can do that by leaving a message on this podcast. Otherwise, because all those go right to me. Otherwise, you can do that through bytheblood.org, or you can do that through the Water from the Rock app. It's on Google Play as well as Apple apps. But anyway, guys, thank you guys for tuning in today. Noah, thanks for coming in today.
Thanks for having me.
I know that you got a really busy schedule today, and I appreciate you letting me throw a wrench in it. So anyway, guys, it's going to do it for us. Remember, the Lord loves you. Have a great day.